KJ's Kitchen. I am KJ. I am 14 years a master fitness trainer, a fitness nutrition specialist, and most important to me, I'm a happy mom serving up healthy meals from my kitchen to yours every Wednesday at 12 o'clock here on the Get KJ Fit fan page. If you're an Instagram lover, you can also find me at Get KJ Fit on Instagram. I'll see you there too. So, I don't know about you, January, it hits, everyone's excited to get healthier, but not everyone's on the same page when it comes to either elimination diets, going crazy keto and thinking that's gonna be super healthy for you. You know, anything like that, not everyone's in the same pattern. Now, I'm all about cleansing the body. It's very effective. I am 7 days into a cleanse. I just finished 48 hours of fasting. I like to do nutritionally supported cleansing, drinking this delicious peach mango tea. I drink this for 2 days, nibble on healthy snacks, approved things, drink bone broth, all that kind of stuff. And I tell you what, I put on close to 9 pounds when I was traveling 5 weeks with my family. 3 weeks of that in Denmark, and I tell you, we were not skimping on the food, the wine, the desserts, the sugar, the fun, and my body, it showed that. I felt puffy, I felt bloaty, and when I stepped on the scale, definitely a week after we returned, I realized it was 9 pounds. Well, I stepped on the scale this afternoon right before I went live, and that's after I've been drinking water, had my coffee, had a nice protein shake, had a snack. After all that, I'm still 6.9 pounds down in 7 days. Woo! So, if you're not into fasting, using things like, you know, teas that help purge the toxin and shrink the fat cells, I'm teaching you amazing meals that will help do similar things. So the more you consume this, the more it will help. And today's recipe is phenomenal. Last week, I showed you a green detox smoothie. Not all the time do you want something cold, and maybe too much fiber is going on if you're doing that too often. I'd say 1 a day is good. This one is a hot and savory meal. And I'm gonna be showing you all the health benefits as we build this amazing detox soup. And what we're starting with is some oil, your choice, olive oil. I've got avocado oil here, happens to be what I have in the cupboard. And just a couple tablespoons of olive oil. I'm putting my heat on my stove to medium/medium high. I don't know what you want to call it. It's definitely medium. And I'm grabbing a decent sized onion. I would have liked to tell you that I was going to chop this in advance, but I wasn't that prepared. So I'm chopping with you today. Get a medium-sized onion. I like sweet onion. To each their own. Please tell me, what is it? Sweet onion versus yellow onion? Is it really that much sweeter? Oh, but I like sweet onion. I like the flavor of it. I like the smell of it. Okay, I'm just gonna start chucking my vegetable back behind me here. So there's no necessary width. You do it. If you like tiny pieces of onion in your soups, go tiny. If you like things chunky, you can make them a little thicker. But no wrong way to chop an onion. Just get her in there. I like to go in slices, as I did, and then go across one direction. And I kind of let it just fall. And already it's piecing apart. An onion has so many layers. And then once I get this way, nothing fancy, I just go the alternate direction with my knife, catching any of those long pieces that didn't quite get in there. Okay, here we go. Now, I've got the chop block going because there are a lot of different veggies in here, but we're gonna chop them at different times. So you do not need to sit and chop, 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 chop. We're gonna go in stages, and you're gonna work with me. If you've ever tuned into KJ's Kitchen, I like to do things in real time, show you the real life about it, because sometimes you'll look at a recipe and be like, how long is that gonna take me? So when you see a video is 20 minutes, you got a 20-minute recipe. Okay, I got this onion. It's going in. Onion first, just to help it cook down a little. It'll get nice and translucent. And now, don't drop a carrot. Dropped a carrot. Ghetto clean. I just wiped it off with my hand like that. Well, it was already washed in advance, and my floors aren't so dirty either, but that was that, okay? I'm gonna boil that carrot. Anyway, I stir around the onion just a touch to get it into one thin layer at the bottom with the oil. Next up, while that's getting translucent, it might take 2 or 3 minutes, you're gonna move to the next yummy, delicious ingredients. Onion, why? Because it is an amazing way to start a base of any soup. Not necessarily a huge detox vegetable, but let's talk about garlic. And onion is healthy, do not get me wrong, and it does help the body. Garlic, I chose intentionally. So many healing benefits of garlic. If you're ever under the weather, I think my sister even swallows the clove whole, or chopped up and swallows, and it's like nature's antibiotic. If you've ever seen my ancient Chinese remedy for clearing out respiratory infection, it has garlic in it because it's so healing. So definitely garlic. I would like to say I would do about 5 cloves, but hey, I forgot to buy garlic after preschool drop-off today, and that was in my head. Buy garlic, buy garlic. I need an alarm on my phone to tell me what to buy. So I didn't buy garlic, and what I happen to have on hand are 3 cloves, but I would suggest more like 4 or 5. Luckily, 2 of my cloves are giant, huge, giant daddies. So happy about that. Clearing away some of this paper. And what I suggest for garlic, if they peeled away easily, like mine just did, that's because they sat here while I was traveling. So the age allowed the garlic to peel away easier. If it's a really fresh garlic, you're gonna wanna take the side of the knife and squash it. No matter what, whether the peelings on it are off, but what I suggest is doing that to release the health benefits of the garlic. Smashing, and I'm doing that to all 3. Boop. And then no particular, this one has a little bit of age in the center, so I'm just cutting the center out. Pick and choose your garlic pieces. All right, there we go. Perfect. So I'm taking these, again, no, you decide. Tiny pieces, you might even use one of those garlic presses and get itty bitty garlic pieces out of that. I don't mind pieces, chunky garlic, but it's not gonna be this big. I do take my knife, go both directions, make it nice and little. I guess you call this minced, chopped finely. While this is, yeah, you see it takes about 2-3 minutes to get your onions translucent. So even though there might be a lot of chopping involved in this soup, I'm walking you through each one to show you why I chose to put it in this soup, the health benefits behind it. Okay, here goes. And tell me in the comments field, I love to hear from people. Are you one in the winter to really reach for soup and eat it? Because I find it's so warming. It's so warming to your body, helps aid in digestion, and it's an amazing stretch meal. So even if you're serving this up to your family, and depending on how big your family is, it's gonna last a couple meals. Meal and a lunch, 2 meals, 2 lunches, whatever. So I'm throwing in my garlic. The onions already started getting a little translucent here. That's great. Getting the garlic going. You're gonna start to smell the amazing aromas in your kitchen. It smells so good already. Ooh, I love when I start with garlic and onion and everyone's like, oh, what's that smell? It smells so good. Yeah, it's always the same. Garlic and onion. Okay. 3rd step, ginger. I have a fresh ginger root here. It's about 3, I would say 2 inches tall and 2 inches cube. It's a pretty decent sized chunk of ginger. And I'm just thinly slicing away the outside of the root, the peel that's all like beautiful skin. Okay, peeling it away, thin cuts so I can save as much of the gingery meat as I can. Now ginger really aids in digestion. Very helpful if you feel like you've had a very high sugar diet. It's gonna really help out your gut health a ton. So this one is a happy gut health one aid in gut health with what we're doing. We've got a few different options going on here. Okay, super thin slice. I go against the grain on ginger. It's going grainy that way. You can see hairs. I go against the grain first. Thin slices. Again, you could use a garlic press and get this through a garlic press if you want them itty bitty tiny pieces. I'm not opposed to having tiny flecks of garlic or ginger in my soups. So I do them. They're nice and thin, super thin, and they look like potato chips. Not going there. That's one thing I haven't done in 7 days, the potato chips. Talk about cleansing. Now I'm going super thin one direction. Really easy to cut fresh ginger when you have it against the grain like that. And now I'm taking my other stack and going thin. I went from chips to tiny frites. That's what they look like now. And now just taking the knife, similar as the garlic. They're all one long direction. I'm just going this way. Getting tiny little pieces. Now you may think that looks like a lot of ginger. If you are not one to love ginger, you might cut back on it, but I find that the ginger really makes this soup. It's a make or break. So, if you hate ginger, maybe this isn't the soup for you, or the broth. You choose a different broth, still choose these veggies though, because I'm going to show you vegetables that are so healthy and how they're going to not only nourish you, because they're superfoods, but why they detox. Going into the pot, those are the three starters that need to cook down a touch before we start putting in the big daddies. And get the flavors pulling out of this. Oh, smells so good. Ginger. So, you know, I don't do direct science, so a 3-inch or a 2x2 large cube of ginger might be around 3 tablespoons, 2.5 tablespoons. I didn't measure, sorry about that in advance. But what you could do is start with like 2 tablespoons if you are one to measure. And then once you've created the broth, if you feel it needs more ginger, just cut another like 1/2 inch and get yourself another 1/2 tablespoon or a tablespoon and increase the ginger load. Good option for you. So while this is cooking down, let's talk about the spices that we're using. And here's what I like to do. I like to add my spice to the starter vegetables, okay? You could be adding it into the water. You're going to get disbursement all around the veggies and let the heat really pull a lot of flavor from these spices. It's going to really bring forward the flavors. So I'm going to be putting the spice in now before I add any broth and water. And let's talk about which ones we're moving through. First and foremost, have you ever seen this golden love? Have you been consuming it? Turmeric. Okay, it says turmeric. I think I always say turmeric. I don't know. Please share. Do you put that R in first? Turmeric. This one's organic, came from Walmart. It's actually a great value brand. I start with 1 teaspoon. Similar. If you're not used to the flavors of turmeric, you are going to want to start with 1 teaspoon. Once you create the broth, if you feel the need for more, add in an extra 1/2 teaspoon. Add in even up to another teaspoon if you really love the flavor of turmeric. I am doing 1 teaspoon. That's my preference. But everyone has their own loves for different flavors. So there I go. 1 teaspoon. I love cumin. This is organic. This one came from Aldi's. Cumin, ground cumin. I'm doing 1 teaspoon. Ground cumin. Oh, that really brings forward so much good flavor. Whoopsie. That might have been 1 and some, but can't go wrong with cumin. Coriander. This one came from Greenwise. Okay, that's Publix. So this one came from Publix. Organic ground coriander. Do you know what coriander is? It's like the seed of cilantro. They're friends, coriander and cilantro. They do not smell or taste alike. Coriander's so sweet. Oh, it's perfume. I used to wear coriander oil. No joke, because it smells amazing. And I always heard it's good to smell edible. Of course, most women were reaching for like cookies and vanilla smells, and here I am like reaching for herbs. So we're doing 1 teaspoon coriander. All right, and a 1/4 teaspoon of mustard seeds. 1/4 teaspoon mustard seeds. Put that in there. All right, now, if you don't know, I'm gonna give it a little stir because I want all this yummy smell to come forward. I'm just coating all of this. You'll see it, I'll give you a little view. Getting it a really good coat, evenly coated. Coating everything, it's all coated, it's one color now, right? Slightly yellowish from that turmeric. Here's the rule of turmeric. If you're just consuming it and putting it in smoothies and putting it on things, you do not absorb turmeric unless you're including black pepper. Okay, so if you see a recipe and it has turmeric in it and you want that to benefit your health, even if they don't list black pepper, you're gonna add some. I recommend a 1/4 teaspoon in this soup here. All right, here we go, 1/4. Got that, buddy. And boop, 1/4 teaspoon. Giving it one last stir. And just letting the smell of this, oh, it smells so good in here. Oh, I love that coriander smell. The turmeric is just light enough. It doesn't overpower it. There you go. From here, we're gonna add the liquid before we add in our healthy detox veggies. So we're gonna first start with 4 cups of filtered water. That's 3 cups right there, pre-measured. And here's another cup, that's 4 cups there. And then you're gonna wanna reach for 4 cups of organic vegetable broth. This one again came from Walmart. You could choose chicken broth if that's how your family wants to roll. I specifically am making this a vegetarian soup. So once you've made all this, if you're one to prefer a chicken broth, go for it. Make sure it's organic. And if you're one to want to throw in pieces of chicken, you can easily turn this vegetable soup into a chicken vegetable soup. That's gonna be up to you. So I am showing you a vegetarian form, and it is 4 cups of vegetable broth, which is the entire 32 ounces, 8 ounces in a cup. I'm putting the entire box in here. It's moving slow, we got this. And that became a very rich colored broth already. Okay, now I'm gonna crank the heat. I'm bringing her to a quick rapid boil, getting it there, while I chop my veggies. Once I add the broth in, I am going to add in my salt. I do recommend pink Himalayan sea salt. Getting low. I do pink Himalayan sea salt because it has extra minerals that you do not get from your table salt. I do 1.5 teaspoons. That's where I would suggest you starting. And then based on your salt factor, I know that the Danes, including my husband, love salty food. So too often I feel like I've salted things plenty, and then at the dinner table, he's reaching for the salt. So you can do it to palate after. Start with 1.5 teaspoons. Remember, this is easily 8 servings of, you know, soup, if not more. So you got that going. Getting that salt. Once it gets hot, that salt's gonna dissolve nice. I want you to not add any vegetables in until this has hit a boil and it has simmered for a little bit, because all those flavors now are going to marinate. They're gonna come forward. So if you're like testing it now when it's not all fully developed, you may be adding things in when you're not ready. Okay, so I have a couple more ingredients I'll show you can add, but I want you to taste your way through it, because not everyone, like I said, has the same palate. While we're waiting for that to hit a boil, we're gonna talk about the beauty of the vegetables I'm adding into this detox soup. Now, have you ever heard of the cabbage soup diet? Have you ever done the cabbage soup diet? Okay, I have not, but I'm asking you to raise your hand. Give me an emoji, you know, that little girl or boy who holds up their hand. Show me if you've ever tried it. Why on earth is cabbage a superfood? Why on earth would people eat cabbage soup to get skinny? Well, it's an amazing detox vegetable. It's part of the cruciferous veggies, which like broccoli, kale, those are cruciferous. They hold a lot of sulfur, and that sulfur helps aid the liver in eliminating toxin. Okay, so that's one benefit. It's a sulfurous, cruciferous vegetable that helps the liver detox. Now, what else it does, it has diuretic properties, and hence why it's also helpful for weight loss. It flushes water out of the body. With that water comes the toxin. So the toxin flushes out of the body with the water because you're consuming a diuretic vegetable. Similar as the cleanse I just finished, that cellular nutrition cleanse, it only eliminates through our pores and our urine. Love it. It's not like this colon scraper. I do not suggest colon cleanses, guys. If you want to get a colon cleanse, go in for a colonic and a closed table colonic and teach your body to, accept the water and push the water out. You'll see a lot of crazy things coming out. I did try that once. Can't say I went back, but it was reviving. I can't believe this is where the topic went, but that's what you get for fun live video. I kind of just keep on talking. I'm doing rough chops here, and it's nothing. Again, it's gonna cook down, so you see it's like square chunks. The way cabbage works, if you're not familiar, it kind of falls apart anyway. So I just have a bowl here collecting my chops because I'm letting this broth really create flavor over here. I can hear the heat. It's almost to a boil. Here I go. So I just use a little bowl to capture all my vegetables. So I'm doing a few over here. Boo, 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 boo. Here we go. That was a half head of cabbage. Organic, guys. Organic all the way. The very best way to detox your body is to not put all the toxin in. That's a smart thing. So if you can find organic in any and all of your produce, go for it. If you don't have that option, then you're gonna look at ewg.org, ewg.org, and look for the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. That list, and it's updated every year because farming changes. That list is going to give you the cleanest vegetables that are conventionally grown. That means they will be and could be sprayed. They don't have an organic seal. And they'll tell you which ones are the safest to consume on a level of toxicity. And then they give you the Dirty Dozen. Now that's the top 12 fruits and vegetables you do not want to consume unless they're organic. I've even heard and read that even organic, that USDA or USDA organic seal, we trust it, but there's really no reason to trust it so much because it's still so highly unregulated. So the best thing you could do for you and your family is buy local. Know the farmers, shop at farmers markets, get into a co-op. Oh my goodness, I loved the co-op we had over the summer from New Roots Farms. Thank you, New Roots. We'll be seeing you again for next spring and summer's co-op. Love, love, love. And you're supporting locals. And you know that they're not spraying. So you can really trust that level of organic. It's at a rapid boil now. I'm dropping her down. Now it's getting all that yummy flavor. Oh, the smell of the ginger's coming out. The smell of that coriander. Oh, smells so good. I wish you were here to smell it with me. Smells so good. We're just bringing her down now to a slow, I wouldn't even call it a simmer because I want there to be still, maybe it is a simmer, a rapid simmer, a high simmer, not a low simmer. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. It does not need to only go doop, doop. It can go boo-boo, boo-boo-boo-boo. So whatever that means to you, a very slow light boil or a rapid simmer, your choice, use your own words. Okay, now I'm going into my carrots long because I don't need them so ginormous. I use the small ends and just cut to circles, but with the big fat ends, I cut them in half, place them down flat so they're secure, and then they're not as big, so they're gonna cook just as quickly as the small ones. And you won't have half crunchy, half tender carrots. Going long. Here we go. Missed one piece and gotcha. Here we go. Of course, collecting it all in my bowl. Carrots, why carrots? Well, they do help with vision, that's for sure. And They just make a soup taste delicious. This, I believe the sweetness of a carrot really pairs with turmeric very well. So that's why I chose the carrot, because it tastes good. And celery, not only do I believe every soup has onion, celery, garlic, and carrot in it, let's talk about why celery is also beneficial, because it does help clean the colon. So it's very fibrous, filled with water. So if you're munching on celery all the time, that's good for you too. It's a nice colon cleaner. Say that fast. Some people who don't want to munch on celery, they are juicing their celery every morning. More power to you, but I believe in fiber. So munch on the celery, even if you're dipping it into a homemade Greek yogurt ranch or a peanut butter El Natural organic. There we go. And last but not least, for what I'm adding in this round is green onions. I got 2 sprigs, stalks, what do you call these things? 2 of them. And I already washed them and picked off the ugly ends. And now I'm just chopping them with my scissors, putting it in my veggie bowl, because that is also going to add an element of delish to the broth. It's going to bring out a lot of flavor. You know, cabbage isn't super flavorful, especially it kind of collects the flavor of what we're doing. The celery, again, even though it has a flavor, it's pretty mild. Carrots are going to add the sweetness. This little touch of onion here is going to boost some flavor. Not done yet with the healing properties of this soup. Okay, so I'm going to give her a whirl. This is how you're going to do it when you're at home. You're going to it's already been sitting here, I don't know, how long we've been on? It's been sitting here 10 minutes, 15 minutes, that's good, while I chop and chat. So I'm going to give her a taste. Oh, it's so good. Okay, so know that when you add the vegetables, it will shift the flavor of the broth. But you've got a base here that you need to learn about and say, well, what else do I need? Optionally, you could add in a squeeze of lemon and bring some acid into this. A touch of apple cider vinegar. You could keep it as is and decide later to add those things, or add it to your bowl and not the family's, or however when you're serving it. But do know it's going to be about you and what you like, but the healing properties in this is where it's at. So you decide which way to take it. You might add heat, a touch of cayenne. I'm going to give I think I could stand a little heat in this, so I'm just going to go 1 splash, 2 splash, 2 dashes of cayenne. That's me. Maybe you don't like it hot. That's okay too. Maybe you want yours very zippy with lemon. Fine. However you like your veggies too. Putting in the vegetables now. Here's my trick to not splash turmeric broth all over. Take your cutting board, cover the pot. So now there's no splash, right? And I'm just putting in the vegetables. If the splash happens, it's not happening on me. Very smart little trick. You can even close the hole up if you need. And I'm just piling in my bowl of delightful vegetables. Now, the thing about vegetables, they cook quickly, even though they're pretty crunchy and hard right now. So if you bring it, you're gonna bring this back up to a boil to get it nice and hot again, because these veggies are cooling down the broth. Boop, boop, boop. And a couple more additives, and then we're out of here, guys. Thanks for sticking around, because I know all that chopping takes some time. But you see right now it's been 30 minutes. You got yourself a 30-minute soup. After it cooks down for the next 15, you've got yourself dinner or lunch or whatever within, including all the prep time, within 30 to 45 minutes. Cool? That's all ready to go. I'm stirring her up. Now, last but not least, on the heartiness of the soup, your option, again, you choose, but to add in extra protein. So you could just go for it. Veggie soup, rock solid, detox, eat that multiple times in a day. You really want to get the detox element out of it. Or just have it daily for the next 5 days. But I'm going to go ahead and pop in a can of organic chickpea. I'm putting this in because it's going to add in more fiber, more protein. This entire can, 3.5, has about 20 grams of protein, okay? So again, if you are on super low carb, oh, I don't touch carbohydrates because that's my New Year's resolution. Okay, if that's you, you're not gonna choose chickpeas because there are carbs in this, okay? You're gonna just stick with vegetables, maybe add in the meat for the protein, but I'm going plant-based. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, is more plant-based meals. Boom, I already rinsed them, they're organic. I'm tossing in a can of chickpea. If your kids love chickpeas, toss in 2 cans. Hey, 2 cans. All right, stirring her up. I'm bringing the heat back up again. Bring it up to a boil. And what I'm gonna do, after it's already gotten tender, this is the last elements. You're not gonna see it in person because I'm not having you wait for all these to get tender, is I'm going to be adding in organic kale, roughly chopped, 2 cups. I took off all the spines. Get rid of the thick spines. Cut them off, chop up the kale. These are like roughly chopped. Some of these pieces are nice and big, right? 2 cups of kale when the soup is done. So when it's hot, it's ready. You've already tasted the broth. You've added in any apple cider vinegar. You've added in any lemon, extra ginger if you need, extra garlic. Play with it, enjoy it. And then last but not least, when serving, topping it with, and these are different, oopsie, I kind of just combined them when I grabbed them, cilantro and parsley. Flat parsley. This is Italian parsley. Different than curly. I suggest you stick with flat. Smells greener, and it does so much for your body. The amount of chlorophyll in this alone will alkalinize your body. So you can throw it in the soup, do not get me wrong, and pull that out and have this as another herb and flavor in the soup. I like the freshness, so once I pour the soup in a bowl, I chop it on top. If you don't love cilantro, you're not gonna go there, but it's added chlorophyll and added help to alkalinize your system. The more alkaline we are, the more healing we do, the less dis-ease anywhere in our body, the more alkaline we are. Hence the plant food purpose. So when you're finished, you're going to have a delicious golden bowl. And you see that my cilantro and parsley got a little wilted while we talked because I poured this right before we started. But when you can choose, like this one, I made the broth. So good. A little spicy. This one, I think I went a little heavy. This is not right here today. This is a broth I made a couple days ago. And I did a little heavy on the cayenne, but I don't mind. It caught me right there off guard. Woohoo! But it absolutely is delicious. You could add more lemon. This one, I think I did add the lemon to. I put about 2 tablespoons of lemon into this one. So good. I'm dripping. But the texture, soft veggies, but because I put the cilantro and the parsley in fresh on top, and there's a little crunch around in the carrots, but the parsley and cilantro is so fresh. It's so good. So this heavenly bowl of detox soup, I hope this serves you. I hope your family enjoys it as much as you do. And you know, if you need to be on a cabbage soup diet and you really want to shred pounds quickly, here's an amazing cabbage soup for you. Add chicken if you want, switch up the beans. If you don't want chickpeas, add in a different type of bean if that's your preference. This is the way I like it. And if you don't like cilantro, don't top it with cilantro, but do top it with flat Italian parsley, very different than curly. If this recipe served you, share it to your wall. It might help someone else. Tag a friend below who's looking to detox their body or looking to trim down and eliminate some belly fat. This meal right here will help them along the way. Okay, I am here every Wednesday on Facebook, 12 o'clock. I will see you next week. If you are not subscribed to the KJ Kitchen's newsletter, which is just a weekly recipe, you will subscribe on the link I'll post below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and lots of love to all of you. I'd love to hear from you how much you loved this recipe, and you have an amazing, blessed Wellness Wednesday. Take care.